We are live, friends, family, our loan officers out there, mortgage people, real estate agents, title, attorney, mortgage, underwriters, processors, loan partners. As we all know, there's so many pieces to the puzzle of getting a home. And this is one piece that I think is not spoken about a lot. We know what goes on behind the scenes. We know that there's business development drivers out there. And this group, a lot of times, as much as we're posting and in front of social media, how many people really get to see what goes on behind the scenes of a business development manager? Or call it like it is, recruiter. And I know sometimes people see that as sometimes has a negative connotation, but let me tell you something. This group has inspired me in so many ways and has become such a powerful force to be reckoned with in this industry. And I wanted to take a minute on the Inside Edge and pull out some of these stories, pull out what's gotten this group to the levels they're at today and the impact they're making around Annie Mac Nation. So we've got people from all different backgrounds, and I'll introduce all of them, but some folks, IT recruiter in the past, mortgage insurance, college, enterprise, law firm recruiter. You've got hustler in college and working multiple jobs, and now they found themselves on the path of business development and growing the Annie Mac family. So as we like to say, rising tide lifts all ships. And when you have people in their lane, and you have people pouring into other people that are relationship managers who are people, really focused on the human element of the business, magical things happen. So we've year to date brought on billions of dollars to Annie Mac, and this group collectively each has a specific focus, a specific territories, specific angles, and it's all very intentional. And we got to give credit where credit's due. So first, I got to drop the mic real quick to the man, the myth, the legend, Paul Zinn, for really leading us the way he has. I have chills. I've been working with Paul for 7+ years, and he has invested and poured into us every single day. And with that coaching, with the guidance, with the courage, with the facing the unknown, and sometimes facing some plain out resistance, we battle this every day. And guess what? We wake up every morning, and as I like to say, the devil says, oh crap, she's up. So I am so grateful and excited to be able to dive in. So I want this group to be talking most of the time. But first, I would love to introduce Emily Pagano. So Emily has been working with us and me specifically with her internship. Just graduated Pace University. She is one of the brightest lights I have ever met, and she gives her all. When I say there is nothing that can keep this girl down, there is nothing. So Emily, I just want to introduce you and please share with the group some of the things you've been doing as part of your internship, some of the things you've learned, what you've loved about it, and maybe some of the things that were challenging that you've had to overcome.
Yeah, well, thank you for that amazing introduction. You have me blushing. As Kelsey said, it's nice to see everyone's lovely faces. I've been working with this team for a while now, over the past several months, so it's been amazing. It's nice to see all you guys again. I just graduated from Pace University, and I started with Annie Mac back in October. And what I graduated with is marketing and communications. And I was planning on, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do or what industry I wanted to go in, but I ended up in the mortgage industry at Annie Mac with this amazing, beautiful family. And it has been so eye-opening for me because I'm now able to see what I am further capable of. It's challenged me in a lot of ways. And just to go over what I've done with the team is a lot of more, social media marketing and outreach, as well as starting to step into more of that recruiter role, I guess you would say. So trying to just be able to do more outreach and actually connect with people in a way where we can talk about maybe what your wants and needs are, how we can help each other, talking about goals. And it's been really great to do that because it's made me see maybe what I need more of in my own career and life. So it's been great to be able to be a part of this team and work on that. And I'm excited to do more of that moving forward.
Yeah, so, I believe everyone needs an Emily in their life, not only because she truly emulates drive, determination. She's a sponge, wants to soak things in. But as we kind of pull up and pass down the baton, as so many people in our industry have passed down to us, that mentorship and that give and take and that accountability, like Emily keeps me sharp. And I truly believe that if you have somebody out there helping you plant seeds, helping you behind the scenes, not just, again, if you're a business development person or you're looking to duplicate yourself in other people, you need to sometimes find people that have strengths that you don't have. And I'm the first to admit, like, I will say around, some of the back end follow-up management when it comes to checking things off in a box inside of our database, follow-up's my A game, but I don't always have the alert to follow up. Well, Emily is the one every day saying, Kels, all right, this is who we need to follow up with today. This is who we need to focus on. This is where we need to put our direction on so I can perform. You all as salespeople are performers, and you need to get in your lane where you're not bogged down by your files, right? If you're looking to build out a region, you need someone that's going to be your anchor. So, with Emily, and as she's learned this world, right, understanding why a loan officer wants to focus on purchase business, why a loan officer needs technology to duplicate themselves. She's learning how to present, how to be an educator. So again, the more that you can duplicate the messages that you are out there pouring into other people, that is going to be one of your greatest strengths. All right, so Miss Olivia. So Olivia is actually one of my best friends, along with everyone on this group, but Olivia really has stepped into Annie Mac from the ground up. She started as Ryan Kuby's assistant, which is how I got my start in the business. And she created her own path, her own lane. And there is not one person at Annie Mac who does not love Olivia. But what Olivia is so good at is identifying and prescribing. So, I think as she's starting to understand both support staff that is needed around the company, so operationally, loan officers, area leaders, and then how she can serve within the culture of Annie Mac, right? I know she sits on the board of the culture committee. So Liv, can you share with us a little bit on what you've been up to and how you've been able to make an impact with Annie Mac?
Yes, for sure. Thank you for that intro. There is not a person at Annie Mac that I do not love. I've enjoyed my whole experience here. And what I really loved about being an assistant first was that I was able to see every department and just explore and get to know everyone and everywhere. And that's where I really realized that the business development is the place for me because I've always been a people person. I've always been a good communicator. I've always done community service, customer service and community service. But I never realized that this was like the path that I would take. I honestly didn't even know it existed. So I'm super grateful to be given the opportunity to explore and to find my place in the mortgage industry. And I've become so intrigued by it every day, just learning about the market and exactly what people need and what supports them and what's not working for them and what we could do to provide solutions for them. The whole concept of it all is just so fascinating to me. And when it comes to support and service, I would like to say I was talking to Rudy Benitez yesterday, and he's from our Arizona branch. And his whole thing is that he loves our service. He thinks our service is what makes us stand out most. And he truly believes that our operations and all the departments and how everyone comes together and they're so communicative that makes a huge difference. He knows that people like to reach out and call us because he knows a human will be on the other line.
Shout out to Rudy. Woo! one of our top producers. He's been with us, gosh, I want to say
Since 2015, he said.
2015.
Yeah. And every year he's gone up like 5 mil every year.
That's drastic when it comes to income and quality of life. And I know he's got his beautiful wife, Debbie, working with him, and, powerhouse couple. But, when you think about the folks that are on this video right now, and Liv, you talk about customer service. That's what we do every day, right? We're on the phone with other business development managers, seeing, okay, well, what's working in your world? What's not working? What's your culture like? What's your community like? How are you making an impact? And those are the questions I know you're asking on a daily basis. You're getting on the phone with branch managers. Okay, you just hit 80 million. You want to get to 250. What do you need? You need a processor? You need LP? You need, underwriters? Let's go. So we've diversified this group so much where, yes, we're focused on biz dev on the loan officer side, but don't forget the ops staff, and as we're scaling, is super vital. Thanks, Liv. You're the best. Linda. So Linda joined us 3 months ago, Linda?
Yes, I'm in my 3rd month.
And she is, one thing I love about Linda, she is a fierce tiger. She's a God-loving woman, as am I, and she and I have really bonded on, what makes us tick, right? What the why and the passion. And for you, I know you're all about the servant mindset and serving other people, and that constant contact, that follow-up consistently is huge for you.
It is, yeah.
Share with us a little on your story and some of your why.
So I actually came from the MI family a couple months ago, and I thought that was my dream job. Love that part of the industry because I'm actually helping people, close their loans and get people in their homes. So I thought, this is going to be my dream. This is it. Last stop for me. Got introduced by Tony Kaiko to this company. I didn't even know this job really existed. I mean, I knew the recruiting job existed, but Annie Mac has a different concept of like how we go out and approach people and we talk to people. And truly, that is the buzzword, servant leader. And that comes from the top down. And all of us seem to have that same heart. We want to help and serve. So it's just, the more I started talking to the company, I got introduced to Paul Zinn is like, he's our guy. I have to share just one little thing with you guys on that one is that Paul and I, he is our leader. I always would call him boss. And finally he said, can you please not call me boss? And I said, but you're all my boss. He goes, no, I'm your partner. And I was like, oh my gosh, my heart just stung because I have been looking for partners among just like this whole group. Our group and our whole company is the antithesis of being partners with each other. It's a beautiful thing. So the more that I uncovered and talked to people, the more I was just like, oh my gosh, I love this part about it. I love this part about it. I love this part about it. When I say this part, I mean the company itself from the top down. I spoke to everyone. And in all honesty, I know every company has said this, oh, you can talk to this person or you can talk to this person at any time. We truly can text, pick up the phone, email, and you get an instant message back. And you do have that support system right behind you, guiding you through everything that you need to have done. And I know I got off on a tangent with that, but anyway, I just wanted to say that because I then came back to Paul because I was, I had apprehensions, just like everyone else. I had spoke with a lot of people within the industry, and they're like, "Oh, recruiting's a bad word." It's not a bad word. We're out there actually helping people figure out how to scale themselves to be better people personally and professionally. And a lot of folks don't understand that. They just think, I'm not sure what they think. And I had that apprehension as well with MI, because again, mortgage insurance was a bad word. So we had to flip that script as well for some folks, you know, saying, no, this actually helps folks get into homes. You don't have to, you can keep money in your pocket and still keep moving and reap the benefits. Another tangent. But anyway, I could talk for hours, but that's my background in a nutshell. And I have to just thank Tony Kaiko. I don't even know if he's on this call or not, or watching us, but I wanted to give him a shout out for introducing me to Paul, and then everyone else, you know, that fell into line with us. You know, just from our CEO to our, oh my gosh, our VP of sales. You know, I just was on a call with him, and just, I mean, I'm just thrilled. And I literally use these words, and I don't use these words lightly. I said, I found my dream job.
Oh,
So anyway.
Amen. Drop the mic. You know, I get goosebumps, and you know, it's something special where when you're able to get someone in an environment that puts their business on steroids and yet has the ability to scale them at a growth rate that feels good, and you get time back in their life, there's no greater feeling. Because I know,
oh my gosh, yeah,
on the same level, I want to get you at the dinner table. I want to get you to your kids' soccer games. I want to get you traveling with your families, because what's the point of making all this beautiful money if you can't give back,
enjoy it,
or be with your people? And there's so many people who struggle there. So good stuff. All right, Sean King. Listen, Sean's a trooper, man, being around all us ladies. I don't know how he's doing it. Give you all the credit out of Astoria, Queens, with Matt Rowan's region. Matt Rowan is a veteran in the business. He's a veteran with Annie Mac. He's got his own killer branch, but Sean's role really is going to be growing out his region. So I see some folks on this chat right now fired up about you. I know you've had some conversations. Sean also joined us not too long ago, but is already making a crazy impact. Sean takes such a holistic approach to his business. You know, he was the guy that was firing people up at his last job at Enterprise, and I know he loved it and loved the people, but was ready for the next challenge. So here you are. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. So Enterprise was definitely an experience. Enterprise was actually a few years before my most recent experiences. So I was at Enterprise so long story short, I'm originally from Minnesota. I live in Astoria, Queens. I don't know if anybody can hear the accent. Originally born and raised in Minnesota, but have been in New York now for 8 years. I started off at Enterprise, like you mentioned. Enterprise was my first company. And so what I can do, you didn't really ask me a question, but I can get into, I guess, my experience a little bit, talk about what I'm doing here, and just share some insights. Completely unscripted. So we're going all off the top of the dome. But that's fine. So yeah, Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
When I told everybody, like, I'm not scripting you guys, like, we're just jumping on, like,
it's
into the face of danger. So I love it. Let's go.
Yeah, trial by fire. So Enterprise, I was with Enterprise for, let's call it like 3.5, almost 4 years. I was everything in between a leader, a branch manager, a sales rep. And that was a great experience. And I think, Linda, you mentioned service, and service being something that is really important. Olivia, you mentioned that as well. Customer service, community service. One thing that stood out to me, and I'll kind of go down the path. I really don't want to talk too much, because I feel like if I go through my entire story, we'll be here for half the day and nobody wants to watch me talk that much. So anyways, Enterprise Rent-A-Car. One thing that the founder of the company said that I've held near and dear to me, and I think that this is important. Whatever role you're in, whatever stage of your career, whoever's watching this video, whatever stage you're in your career, you could be just starting off, like Emily. You just graduated from college. You're in your first role. You're an intern. Maybe this is your first role at a company, first year in a company. Maybe you've been there 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years of experience. Something that's very important to me that I took away from Enterprise was the quote that if you take care of your employees and your customers, the profits will flow. And if you stop and you think about that quote and what it really means, and taking care of your employees, make sure that everybody at the company is happy, thriving, healthy, living the life that they want, or at least have an opportunity to thrive. And your customers feel like they're getting what they need, like they're taken care of, and like they want to do business with you again. Your profits are going to come. You don't need to drive it down the throats of your employees. You don't need to demand anything from your customers. Take care of everybody. The profits will come. And I think one thing that really resonated me when I started speaking with everybody here at AnnieMac, my journey was a little bit different. I didn't get the opportunity to speak with Paul Zinn right off the bat. I met with, I think it was Olivia. You and I spoke first, actually. Nice little phone conversation. It was great. It was my first introduction to AnnieMac. I then spoke with Matt Rowan, who is as Linda, you mentioned, is my partner. I call him boss man. I call him all these different things, but partner. I think that's great. And then I also spoke with Vince and Kelsey. You and I spoke as well. And really what I felt was the result. So I thought everybody was great. And I love the fact that I really connected with everybody. But what I truly felt, and this is important for anybody going to any different position or switching, transitioning, what I felt was the result of a company that takes care of its employees. Felt like everybody was comfortable, not too high, not too low, not too energetic, but not down. It was just right. Things felt right. And you can feel that when you speak to enough people. And I think that we all speak to enough people every single day where we kind of get that vibe. And that's the first thing that stuck out. So moving forward, what am I doing now? I won't jump into the rest of my story, but for the past 4 years, so I stopped working at Enterprise in 2017. And for the past 4 years, I've been a sales leader. So I've had the opportunity to lead teams, coach teams, develop teams, programs, work with reps. I like to consider myself a coach. I was networking all the time. And the biggest thing that I would like to think that I gave everybody that I worked with was a feeling that Sean really cared about me as a person. Wanted me to perform, obviously, wanted me to do well. Sales, we have to perform, right? We have to have some type of performance. But more importantly, I cared about people as a human being. So fast forward after that time that I spent throughout working, I guess, in the SaaS and technology industry of a few different companies as a sales leader, now I'm able to utilize the tools that I've grown and developed as a sales leader to help people who might be looking or might be interested in learning about a new opportunity, whether or not somebody is looking to move or make a transition. I get to network and connect with people authentically every single day now. And here I've only been here for 3 weeks. So of course I don't have all the knowledge in the world, but I think it's important to understand stories, understand what makes people tick. And I've been able to talk with people and get on the phone and have conversations, real conversations with people who like to learn and like to develop and are interested in growing. And so whether that's growing as a professional or growing their income, there's everything under the sun of reasons why people like to learn, whatever their why is. And so I'm able to connect what I've learned throughout the past 8, 9, 10 years with everything that I'm doing now. And I love that. So that's what I'm really excited about. I'm trying to help people. So that's what I'm doing here. I like to consider myself, what I like to say on the phone is, you can call me anything you want, a recruiter, a partner, a networker, a coach. I don't care. I like to think of myself as a reference. I like to think of myself as a relationship grower. And that's what I will be doing here in the future with AnnieMac.
Can't wait to see you shine. I think we all have something very much in common, and that's being the common denominator and having the opportunity to change lives. We don't approach our folks in the business by saying, come to AnnieMac, it's fantastic. It's, let me learn about you. Maybe you're fit, maybe you're not. I don't know. I want to understand, where are your strengths? Where are your weaknesses? What's working? What's not working? I know if I get on the phone with a loan officer, they're going to teach me something. And we all have that hunger for knowledge, and we have that hunger to apply, right? Application, being able to implement what we learn. So if there's one thing I've learned about Gina down in Gainesville, Florida, my little Southern belle, she taught me, gosh, how to be a sponge, take it, run with it, and not give up. Gina's down with Robert Filial, go Gators, down in Florida. And, you know, Robert has such a crazy cool success story, and we're going to get into some of these in a hot minute. But Gina joined after working with an IT firm as a recruiter. And I remember I was walking around my neighborhood talking to Gina for the first time. And she's like, you really think I could do this? And I'm like, you have everything it takes. And she's had so much success in a short period of time. It's being that consistent person in someone's life that, you know, we all need a little help from our friends from time to time. So Gina, I have loved watching you grow. Can you share a little bit on what you're doing, what Robert's region looks like, and the impact you're making?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an amazing experience so far. I started in October of last year. So, you know, about 6 months into it, this was a brand new venture for me because my background is human resources. So, you know, I've done everything from employee relations to benefits, payroll, recruiting, but the recruiting in the HR world is a little different. It's much more passive. So, you know, as I was talking with Robert and then Tom, my RVP, and then Kelsey, you know, as I was kind of deciding, is this the right fit for me? Should I make this move? You know, just the amount of support and, you know, and I even had very honest conversations, you know, with Tom and Robert and said, you know, I'm just not sure if I can do this, if I'm cut out for this. And they both, you know, they both promised me and assured me, if you trust us and take this leap, we will not let you down. We will give you all the support you need. We are here for you. We are all in this together. And they have not let me down at all. It's been a learning experience, you know, as all of you guys know, you know, it's a tough business. You know, it takes thick skin, and that's something I'm definitely still developing, but my why is really helping people, which is why I gravitated towards human resources. So that's, you know, that's something I enjoy. I love, you know, talking to people and finding out their stories and, you know, just finding out areas that they would like to see a bit of a change. You know, like you had said earlier, Kelsey, you know, they want to sit down at the dinner table with their kids at night. That's something that's huge to me. And actually, I took a break from human resources and became a school teacher just so I could do that. And so I was a school teacher for about 6 years, and I taught kindergarten and second grade. And then I missed my recruiting and HR world, so now I'm back. But yeah, I mean, it's been an awesome experience. The More Mortgage Group is absolutely incredible. We're making just tons of progress, and we've got really great plans for the future. We've partnered up with some absolutely amazing loan officers. And so Robert Filial is our area leader. And, you know, back in 2018, he had a vision. He wanted to grow a region. And so he set out on that venture, and with 3 locations and 80 million in production. And today our branch has 19 locations across 8 states. And, you know, just in the past 12 months, we brought on, I know it's amazing. It's just unbelievable to even think about. In the past 12 months, we brought on 23 new loan officers. And prior to joining AnnieMac, they were about 296 million. And those 23 loan officers, after coming to AnnieMac, they are now 536.4 million.
Holy moly!
I know, absolutely unbelievable. Robert and I were talking about this earlier, and I mean, just it's all about, you know, building a team around those loan officers, getting them out of the weeds. You know, they shouldn't be processing. They shouldn't be sitting behind a desk all day. They need to do what they do best, and that's going out, you know, talking with realtors, talking with attorneys, title agents, and just really growing their business. So it's just been an amazing ride, and I just can't wait to see what the future holds.
Buckle in, baby. Here we go.
That's right.
That's so cool. Wow. Well, I want to get into more of some of the meat and potatoes of stats and spotlights, and we're going to be highlighting some really cool success stories and sharing how we got people there. First, Jess. So Jessica Helwig, Jess and I go back, and she has been someone that I have admired for so long, and I always felt like, gosh, she has it in her to do this. And she is with the Community Mortgage team officially as of how many months ago, Jess?
I guess almost 4. Yeah, or a little over 4. Yeah.
Okay. Got some hires under your belt. Your role as a business relationship manager, you're a little multifunctional with Jay Leibowitz. This group has had the #1 purchase growth last year for Annie Mac and continuing to shine. I know you've got some success stories bundled up, so I'm not going to steal your thunder, but Jess, first of all, Jess gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning and out, and she's like the most driven force I've ever met, and she does not give up. And shout out to Rockme. These two are a power couple in the fitness and health space. Jess is also being certified in the holistic world, and I just love how she brings her teachings into the business. Jess, I adore you. What's a little bit of what you've been up to and your story and how you like working with the group?
Sure. So I feel like going last is probably one of the easiest or hardest things to do. I'm not really sure yet, because I feel like I could pick out things that each of you have said that I absolutely love and that have just been so consistent. And I think that's what's so beautiful and powerful about this group and about this company, that it doesn't matter who you talk to, you are going to get the same story, no matter how that's kind of delivered. The themes are very similar. So thank you, Kelsey, for that introduction and for bringing me into this family. So prior to being at Annie Mac, I worked in the legal recruiting fields and addiction treatment field for a short period of time in human resources. So that's also my background. I'm also being certified as a holistic health coach. So I'm very excited about that and have really enjoyed that journey as well. And like Kelsey said, I am on the Community Mortgage team and work very closely with Jason Leibowitz. And I just have to give him a huge shout out because, before I came to this team, I knew the importance of kind of humanizing the, recruiting field and kind of how we go about that. But I was never in a position or had a platform to actually do that. So I just really want to thank everybody on this call and everyone on our team and at this company for giving each of us and, everyone from our loan officers, referral partners, processors, underwriters, the whole team for providing each of us with this opportunity to do what we do every day. And we are in the relationship business. It is, a privilege to work with people and help change their lives and give them more time with their families, doing things they love and really working smarter and not harder. So, that's what I got.
Beautifully said. You guys bring such a calmness to my soul. I don't know if I've told you that lately. This group has like some magic healing powers. I don't know what it is, but it's soothing to be amongst your presence, and I want you to know that. So let's jump into some success stories. I want to have our audience really relating. I know a lot of loan officers who, Travis, shout out to Jay Leibowitz, great leader. Love you, Trav, love you, Jay. So, as a company, went through, as an industry, went through one of the craziest years of our lives. Seeing how many people were affected and impacted at the same time. I think there were so many pluses and minuses, and it was very eye-opening in so many aspects. And, for folks in our industry, we saw a huge tidal wave, right? Rising tide lifts all ships. A huge tidal wave crashed down on our industry in a way that flooded people's people's lives. The floodgates opened and business just came pouring in the door. And there's so many people who, you know, were trying to scoop up the refi business and still manage their referral partners with purchase business. And it was a juggling act, right? No one could say they did a perfect job, right? Perfection does not exist in this industry, but we certainly try our best. So as we look back and as we look forward, we see where we were headed and where we're going. And I'm a firm believer where we are headed is far more important than where we've been. And there's a reason why the rear view mirror is so small and the windshield is so large, right? Because where we are headed, again, is far more important than where you've been. So I don't know who you are out there that needs to hear that, but remember that. Your past does not define you. So, you know, as we've gotten to know the stories and the leaders, right? The top 1%ers, the folks that have doubled, then tripled, then quadrupled their business, their lives have changed drastically. And we hear about those stories every day. So, you know, I want to pull out some of these stories. And, you know, Olivia, I know you mentioned Rudy Benitez. You know, I think a big part of Rudy and his group being a veteran, having mass amounts of production. Do you have some stories or anything you can share with us from Rudy, as long as he's been here with us, and some of the things that he's done, or any other success stories you'd like to share?
Yeah, I loved talking to Rudy yesterday because he was saying how, you know, he works where he's located. It's really competitive because it's, you know, it's a smaller population and there's a lot to compete with. And he has 2 people in marketing helping him get out there every day. He has a billboard that he drives by every day and sees himself. And he really feels that his support and bringing his wife on and bringing everybody on to help him has really created a lift, you know, because he likes to do everything on his own. He likes to be hands-on with everything, likes to have a little bit of control, and that's great because it's customized to his type of work. I also like one that is always talked about, but Pat Staff, I have to say, because he doubled his business from 10 to 25 million in just 12 months with our National Lunch and Learn League. And his whole thing was that he was mostly refinanced, but he needed to get in front of more new productive realtors. And our National Lunch and Learn League helped him do that. I think that story will never get old. And then we also have Youssef, who made a huge difference with his Reno product. And that's a great story. But yeah, there's just tons. There's tons. Recently, we brought on Matt Miller, who's changed his business. We have people hiring more staff, great transition stories. I'll let you guys go ahead before I get too excited.
Yeah, and I think what's cool too is there's so many people over different pockets of the nation, right? So we talk about Rudy in Arizona, Pat Staff is in New Jersey, Matt Miller's in Annapolis, Maryland. You know, Linda, I know you spoke with Matt recently as he was sharing how his team has grown drastically since he started and getting some of that recruiting support. You want to dive into some of that?
Absolutely. I actually have been talking to him off and on, but then this morning, I mean, this man's on fire. Sent me a boatload of texts that he's just so excited about. He wanted to just make sure that he was highlighting and getting his word out, that he said the onboarding team is incredible. He said, please highlight that. But I was going to already highlight that because I was impressed. And this is another thing that goes back to our company. I'm impressed with the fact that even though we've been in business for such a long time, and I've only been here 3 months, we continually try to get better. So before Matt even mentioned this, and before I even did the outreach to even think about this, I was thinking how much I get, not inundated, but I get asked, I should say, how are we dealing with this? How is this going? So one of the things that came across my desk was how's onboarding going? How can we improve this? Are there any things that we can improve? What's working? What's not working? I think that is so important as a company to keep checking in, especially with us. Not that we're completely on the front line, but we are out there. We hear what other people are doing. We're bringing people in, and they have the experiences that they share with us. And it's so important. So then that was just an affirmation when he said, onboarding is on point. I've never had the best experience of my life. So he wanted me to make sure that, that we did that. But I just wanted to touch upon that we constantly are always checking in with each division to make sure that we're scaling up constantly, because the industry is constantly changing. So we have to make sure that we check in with our people, and that's another reason why I love this company. But anyway, so I digress a little bit. But so then he said they're there every step of the way. He wanted to say very important. He has in very bold letters here. He said very important. Other places that he's been before with the licensing, it took them 45 days for him to get his license and then be able to then ramp up and start working. It took 2 days with Annie Mac. He said that's it's big. It's not something that actually really happens usually. So this is something that he was extremely proud of to be a part of that. He said that his production, like everyone else's in 2020, was phenomenal. I mean, the fish were jumping in the boat for most people with refis. So obviously, you had to have a pulse. If you didn't have a pulse and you weren't making in this business, you probably should have gotten out in 2020. But what's so important is that you have to also then keep in front of your purchase business. But that's another conversation. But anyway, so he did 94.5 million last year. This year, and he's already scaled to do it. He's already hit his mark, where he's doing 125 personal business, 125 million. And then we built a branch. So Annie Mac has built a branch around him. He's opening up the Annapolis branch. I think it's already open. Started off with 2 people, and it went from 4 people. Actually, it was 2, but then it was 4. He brought over some other folks. And then went from 4 initially to 11 in 120 days. So he has a full suite of people that support him and that are on board with his whole branch in 120 days. Again, these are success stories that you can't make up. So it's just incredible. And the leadership behind that is, again, the servant leaders of Matt Mills, Paul Zinn, Matt Mills being our regional.
Tom Mills.
I'm sorry, Matt Mills. I do that constantly. I get them, and then Paul will correct me because which Mills are we talking about, Miller or Mills? But yes, Tom Mills. I talk to Tom Mills all the time, actually. So Tom, I'm sorry. Dave. In fact, he's probably texting me right now going, my name is Tom.
Listen, this is live. This is real.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, I'm a big jokester sometimes too. So Tom Mills, obviously he's singing his praises, as well as just being so good at allowing him to customize what he needed to do to scale his business. And so that was another, part of the thing that is just so different from any other company that's out there. Any other lending company, I've had the privilege to, kind of peek into a lot of other ones being an MI rep. So I kind of can see where the discrepancies and or pluses and minuses are. So I just wanted to kind of put that in there.
You bring up a really good point when you talk about our production coaches and regional VPs. These guys are the ones that are really the doctors, right? They're behind the scenes. They're the ones that are analyzing, okay, what do we have in front of us? This is the DNA of your business. This is who's doing what. Okay, now we need to tweak this, tweak that. It's literally like a machine that we are building. I brought on 4 assistants, 2 processors, a junior, plus he's got, his amazing brother, Marissa, Hannah. The whole group has continuously assessed and added value. So, shout out to that group. They just got their office on the water.
Yes.
Y'all need to do like a video or a photo shoot on a boat and doing your thing. And
we need to go visit that branch.
You guys can come stay at my house. I'm down the street.
But they just shine. And, it's cool. Aaron and Matt are young fathers. They've got babies at home, and they've got, wifeys to take care of, and empowering truly what a real leader looks like.
And can I just add one thing, because this, and maybe a little bit more too, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but adding to that, they have, wives and children at home. I went to visit them when they were still scaling up, and it was around 5 o'clock, 5:30. It was like, where's everyone going? They're like, we're going home. I was like, really? They go, yeah, we've got this. Annie Mac has got us. I was like, you're kidding me. He goes, no, now I have time back in my life. My wife loves me. My kids love me. I get to go home every night and have dinner with my family. He goes, and before this was unheard of. So this team that has been built around him has just really, I just had to add that to that. And you know, you hear this, and of course, me being new to the company, I'm like, yeah, you know, we're a little cynical at sometimes, but then I'm like, well, can I come to dinner too? Because I was thinking I was going to be here till like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, like with everyone else, you know. So
Yeah.
it's amazing.
I remember Carl White, right? Talk about another man, myth, and legend, over at the Freedom Club and Mortgage Marketing Animals. He looked at me. We went down to visit him actually at his house in Florida, and he kind of like put his hand on my shoulder, and he's like, you know, there was a time where you get the, you know, good old boy slap on the back, like, you work so hard, like, good job. But no, that's not the way it should be. It's, you work so smart, good job.
Yeah.
And that's really what I think I know I personally can say is one of my driving focuses, and I think I can speak for all of you too. Jessica, let's talk about some of your group in community mortgage. I know Jay, as an area leader, as a founding father of Annie Mac, he's been with this group a long time. Share what's cooking in your world, and maybe if you can, some of the video production you guys are doing and how that's changing real estate agents and their worlds.
Yeah. So you all know Jay. And if you don't know him, you need to know him. He is the best guy I've ever met. Biggest heart. And one thing that I will truly never, ever forget from a manager, him and I were just kind of having a conversation offline a couple weeks ago, catching up about life, you know, like nothing business related. And something was going on, nothing too serious with me. But he was like, Jess, why didn't you tell me about that? And I was like, oh, well, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And he said to me, Jess, I care about you more as a person than I do as you being like an employee of this company. Like, he cares more about what's going on in my life and, you know, if I'm okay. And, you know, business always comes second. Yes, it is extremely important. Yes, we all show up every day to do our job. But I was stunned. I mean, not surprised at this point. This was only a couple of weeks ago, and I've been here for a couple months now. But I was just like, how have I been missing this in my life? Like, he makes my job easy. And I know that he works so tirelessly every single day for our team. And he sends us emails frequently throughout the week, the entire team, and says, I'm here for you, whatever you need. I mean, what boss says that? You know what I mean? I mean, he will always take time out of his day to help you with anything, whether it's personal, business, anything. So I had to say that. But
That's
Jay
your success story. I love that.
Yeah. So I do just want to share a little bit about the video production that our team is doing. And a success story that we've had with Jesse Schwager. He has been with Annie Mac. This is his second time around, actually. He came back in 2018, but he was with the company from 2010 to 2015. And, you know, he did pretty well, had decent production. He made President's Club, which is an honor. And he ended up leaving and going to another mortgage company in 2015. And he was just he had a different mindset at that time than he does right now. And in 2015, he was chasing money. There were, you know, different priorities, you know, whatever his why was, it was money focused, and that's okay. But in between the time he left Annie Mac and came back, he was at 6 different mortgage companies. So as you can imagine, he was there at each one between 4 and 6 and 7 months, which is, you know, bizarre. But at the first company he went to, the first 5 deals that he had, they weren't able to be closed. So he lost 5 very important realtor relationships, which is the most important thing. And he was so confused why this was. This never happened at Annie Mac, and he thought that, oh, well, I'm getting this big sign-on bonus at this next company. This is a good thing. This is going to work out really well. I'm going to be successful and whatnot. So that didn't end up being the case. And his big aha moment was that, everybody can speak a big game, but if you can't deliver, if your back end isn't up to par, isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing, doesn't have the support that they need to do their job, no one is going to be successful. So it took Jesse 6 other mortgage companies to realize that. And, he really did think every mortgage company could kind of do what Annie Mac did the way Annie Mac does it. And that just was not the case. So he came back to Annie Mac and was welcomed with open arms. And that was in 2018. And he became part of Jay's branch, the Leibowitz team, which is now the community mortgage team. And what's really helped propel Jesse from, closing 25 million in 2019 to in 2020, closing almost 50. He was at 49, was the help of our video production team and business development. So we are able to get in front of realtors and other referral partners and help spotlight them in the community. And that allows us to build those organic, warm, nurturing relationships that in return help us grow our business and help Jesse increase his connection and his client base. And the way that we go about that, I forget who said it earlier, but it's like, we don't just, rah-rah Annie Mac. I mean, there's a very meticulous way that we go about having those conversations and, kind of sprinkling everything about our team and about our company in a very attractive way that makes people feel good. So Jesse is just totally crushing it, and he has established so many wonderful relationships across the entire country, and he's really looking forward to expanding more in Florida. I had the pleasure of going down there with him and Brian Offner from our team back in March, and it was just an incredible experience. So I really, really love working with them, and I'm totally inspired by them every day. So I guess Jesse just realize that the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and his mindset and his why just totally shifts from don't follow the money, follow your heart. And at the end of the day, I think that's why we're here, and we're able to kind of help people along that path. So it truly is a pleasure to be able to work with these types of people.
We love you, Jesse. I think a big part of that too is the way we serve. I love how the community mortgage team goes out into the communities and helps boost the presence and branding within small businesses. I've seen Jesse and Tom Fox and, Dominic Carlucci and JT and so many people that have gone in and we bring in the video crew. Let's say it's a bakery downtown. We get the owner of that bakery, we get the real estate agent, we have the loan officer, and we're doing a video spotlighting that group. And then what we see that organically doing is pouring so much into the business, and especially with the year we just went through, that organic promotion is priceless. So thanks for sharing that. I'll share Tom Fox on the community mortgage team. When Tom came to Annie Mac, I remember sitting with him at a coffee shop, telling him to basically jump into my arms. Trust me, I got you. We got you. And he was doing 10 million. He loves racing. He, does a phenomenal job, and it's something he loves to do with his father. So he loves to spend time on the racetrack, and he's like, I want to build business. I want to do what I love to do, and I want to spend time with my family. Well, he doubled his business. He did 22 million. Dominic Carlucci, who spearheads renovation, who's always been phenomenal inside of the reno and construction space, came in. Now Jay cleared his path. Now he just does what he loves, builds relationships, and is able to continuously build that funnel. I also want to highlight Eden Prairie. Titus, Mud, Scott Miller, you guys, and this is actually on Matt Rowan's region with you, Sean.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say those are my guys. I was just talking to them yesterday. Great dudes.
Oh, why don't you go first? I don't want to steal your thunder. Is there anything you want to share on what you learned about that group?
What I've learned. So I was speaking to them. I've had a couple conversations with them, meeting with a number of branch managers throughout the region. So like Minnesota is a region, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Ohio, Massachusetts, New Jersey. But I am working or helping build out the Minnesota region as well. Eden Prairie is a great town, first and foremost. It's really funny. Like I have a funny story with Eden Prairie. It's like part of me doesn't like Eden Prairie because my high school, anybody who watches this and is from Minnesota knows Cretin-Durham Hall and knows that Cretin-Durham Hall and Eden Prairie don't like each other. Two football teams, programs, and schools that don't like each other. So when Matt was like, I got a couple guys for you to talk to from Eden Prairie. Their branch is awesome. I was like, awesome. Ooh, Eden Prairie. Why does it have to be there? But no, great guys. A very beautiful town. Honestly, beautiful city, beautiful town. Mud, Scott, and Titus. They have not only a great team. So this is I'm going to have to go off my memory, and I don't have a whole lot of information on them. But what I did really have liked about speaking with them, and what I've understand about the branch, is that they truly care about their community. They truly care about the people that they have at the branch, and they want to have a well-oiled machine. And they do have a well-oiled machine. But the reason why they came to Annie Mac is just because process-wise, things weren't working out, or things weren't as good as they wanted it to be. And so they saw that with Annie Mac, that some of the back-end stuff, whether it's processing, underwriting, would have been taken care of and was just more robust. I don't have too much, I guess, meat and bones to go off of, but just overall meeting them as people, that's what's really been important for my last couple of weeks. Is eventually I'll have the stories. Jessica, I feel like it's so hard to follow up with that story that you just shared because it was so in-depth, very linear. And in my mind, I try to be linear, but I'm probably just going in circles here. But for me, I've only been here for 3 weeks, probably said that like 10 times at this point. And so what I wanted to do and what I thought is really important is to build authentic relationships with everybody and really get to know them as people and what makes them tick. And I feel like I've been able to do that with everybody. I can't remember who said it. Maybe it was you, Jessica, who said consistency across teams with stories. And it's been very consistent with everybody that I've met, all the different branch managers that I've had the chance to meet with. Scott, Mud, and Titus. Mud, by the way, since he's a firefighter, or he's a part-time firefighter, I've only been able to speak with him once. He's been at the firehouse a couple times. So that's really awesome. Goes back to the point that I said, community service. He's serving his community. And the fact that he does that to me was like mind blowing. I'm like, am I living is this like the, oh my gosh, what is that name of that scary show? The Twilight Zone. Like, is this the Twilight Zone? How is this all aligned so well? But, I think that's just Annie Mac as a company, and Scott, Mud, and Titus really stand out in their region and their area for Annie Mac, and why they're so successful. I think that they're one of the top performing branches in the entire country. It's funny because Titus and Matt were discussing success, and I think Matt beat them out last year or something like that. Maybe Matt will check me on this, or Titus will check me on this, but I like competition, so hopefully I'm stirring that up a little bit. But stirring the pot.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know that group. So Titus, 40% in growth from January to April, and last year double business. They joined us. I want to say beginning of 2019, and basically quadrupled their business. They built their team. Brenda, shout out to Brenda on their team, who really focuses on the business development, administrative stuff. But I should have Brenda on here too. Sorry, Brenda, next time.
I was going to say, Brenda, we got to give her a shout out too. I was able to chat with her a little bit on the market. She takes care of the marketing, but you probably know a lot more about that involvement.
Everybody's got their lanes that they're in, which is really awesome. Olivia mentioned Yusuf, right? Yusuf came in, he was with Weichert, an in-house lender, in 2017, joined us around 2018. was doing 20, 25 million. He since then joined Kevin and Landy in North Jersey and he's built out his own branch, right? He's got his own squad. He's recruited some loan officers underneath him. Last year, I want to say he did close to 95 million, and I think the branch did maybe around 130. That's Yusuf's team exclusively, and that group, as the entire Kevin and Landy umbrella, they've gone from, when they started 10 years ago with us and continues have blown up. Last year, they did just shy of 350 million. So it's so cool to see the beginnings, and it's so cool to see that the flower blossoming. Gina, I believe within your region, there's so many success stories. I know we're coming up short on time. Can you maybe power punch through some of these that you've prepared and some things you want to talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we have Jeff Shealy. He's one of my favorite success stories and love talking with him so much. And, this year he's on pace to do 350, I would say units, but really it's helping 350 families. And that's one thing I love about Jeff, because, he has such a heart for the community and giving back. And, by helping that many families, that helps his community, that, sets his family up for the future. And so I just absolutely love that. Of course, we have Joe Onifree and Rhonda Hamney, Rick Herring, Gabe Jones, and doubling and tripling their business. And it's all because, of course, they just credit it all to the support that surround them, hiring loan partners, business development reps to help, increase their presence with their referral partners. And then also, of course, Robert's coaching. He's a national coach for the Freedom Club. So all of that combined is just the secret sauce.
Yeah. So with Robert being a coach, I know he's constantly figuring out, okay, what team members do we need to add? What region do we want to build in next, right? Where's the next? We want to drop our pin on the map. So it's so neat to see that growth. And I think one of the biggest lessons we've learned is duplicating ourselves within other people, and also the what, right, inside of tech. So listen, friends and fam, next time we jump on, I want to go a little bit deeper inside of, how this group ticks, how we're held accountable, what systems we're using to communicate inside of, daily key metrics, right? So you think about how many DMs are we sending, how many voicemails, how many dials, how many conversations, how many discovery calls booked, how many senior level leader calls booked. And inside of that, once someone comes into our world and they want to learn more about the AnnieMac family, we then step into presentations and then financial scoping, and then we jump into the onboarding discussion. So there's so much detail and intentionality behind it. We'd love to share our process and our systems. Emily, I know you over there I introduced you in the beginning, but I wanted to give you a voice. Anything you've seen as far as success stories or spotlights, or anybody you want to highlight or thank for your growth at this point?
Yeah, well, you guys pretty touched on like a lot of people that I've seen have their own success stories. But the biggest shout out has to be to all of you. You guys have made this experience thus far absolutely amazing. Because like I mentioned earlier, I touched on a little bit, coming into an industry that I'm completely unfamiliar with. Anyone who's a new LO or just entering the mortgage industry themselves, it's scary. There's a lot of information that can hit you all at once, and you may not know what to do with it. So having all your guys' support has been major in helping me, digest that information, understand the industry better, and start to really have a passion for it, and for what I'm doing with you guys. And also Paul Zinn, I know you guys said his name's come up like 10 million times at this point, but he is like, as Linda said, like our partner. He is someone that, he's another person that definitely cares about us as people, and not just as employees. So that's a really big thing, as Jessica kind of touched on before. The connections. Like I think for me, just my biggest takeaway from this group and from AnnieMac as a whole is it's authentic, it's genuine. Everyone wants to make sure everyone else is good, that they have what they need to do what they need to do, or that they want to do. And I think that says a lot for itself. But it makes me grateful to just be a part of this and have this opportunity. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I really am excited to continue the work that I'm doing with recruiting, that not so scary word, and just really touch base with people, try to build those genuine connections and help people when I can, that service attitude and that component to everything that we've been saying.
Well, thank you. And yes, there's so many people, even who we were not able to mention, that have impacted all of our lives and careers. And, as we step into the future, I want to come back on here and I want you guys to be able to share updates on your growth and where you've been and lessons you've learned. So we will be doing this again. Friends, reach out to this group, add them on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Follow their stories. We're constantly pouring out education and knowledge throughout our social media platforms. And we just want to meet good people who have the same intentions as us and the desire to grow and be a part of something. So until next time, guys, thank you so much for joining us and giving us a full hour of dedicated time. Until next time, thanks for joining on The Inside Edge.
Thank you so much, Kelsey.
Thanks,
And the
Kels.
group.